Hi, welcome to SAP Product Costing tutorial. So in the last two tutorials, we have completed the FI company code configuration. We also looked at various steps required in product costing configuration and various areas which we will be covering in product costing. So in this tutorial, we will start configuration of cost center accounting. This we have done in detail earlier. However, for the purpose of product costing, we are going to create some new cost centers, some new cost elements and activity types. So the key activities which we are doing are we're going to create a controlling version 01, controlling version 0, which takes the actual cost, and controlling version 1, which will take the planned cost. Version 0 takes both actual and planned cost. We create some cost elements as given here: raw material, packing material, purchase components, some secondary cost elements as mentioned in the slide, and 3 cost centers, 3 activity types, and then we can run them in the cost center report. So these are the activities which we are going to perform in the SAP. So let's log into SAP and start the activities. So the transaction code for creating the controlling version is OKEQ. So let us set the controlling area. OKKS is the transaction code. It's being set to IST5. Now we can create controlling versions. OKEQ. Okay. So version 0, select version 0, controlling area settings, click controlling area, select here 0. Settings for each fiscal year, click this. We have already created it. For our current year 2021, you can select it, click the lens here, and we can see the details. So nothing need to be done here. Version 0 is already created. This takes both the actual cost and the planned cost. You can go to the controlling area version and see the planned cost is selected and the actual cost checkbox is also selected. So in this version, you will have the planned cost, actual cost, work in progress, variances, so on. And let's create controlling area version 1. This takes only the planned cost. Actual cost is not selected here. Of course, it will show the WIP and the variances. Select this version, double click the controlling area setting. The message pops up that it's not created in controlling area IST5. Click yes, so this will be created. So now this has been created. Select controlling version 1. Click the folder settings for each fiscal year. And now this will be created in the current year. So click new entries. And once you click the new entry, keep the current year 2021. Copying allowed. Exchange rate type. Give an F4, and we can select the exchange rate type as P, standard translation for cost planning. So this is mainly used for the planning purpose. So we are using the exchange rate type P. Price calculation, periodic price. This is correct. So I think that's all. Now you just save it. So the controlling version 1 gets created in this controlling area IST5. Let's look at the next activity. Next task is create some cost elements. So we have to create these cost element 41069, which is raw material consumption. Now cost elements, as I've discussed earlier, they are basically used for transfer of entries or expenses from FI module to the controlling module. So for this, let's go to the FS00 transaction code. Here we will create the GL account, which is your 41069, and then we will extend this GL account as a cost element to the new controlling area. So company code IST5, give the cost element 41069. This does not exist, so we have to create it. Create button, select. So as you can see, the PL account number starts from 400,000. So this number cannot be taken, so we need to cancel this transaction, FS00. And now let's create the GL account 41069 and add 10. And click the create button, select P&L, and this falls in that range of what we have defined for the PL account group. So select the PL account statement, text will be the raw material, consumption, control data, US dollar, it's a P&L account, so we take the line item display, sort key, how the line items will be sorted when it's displayed. This account balances are displayed, we will take the 001. Here we can give the field status group, that is what fields have to be displayed when you post an entry to this account. Let's take the G001, and that's all is required. Save it, so the GL account 410690, that is raw material consumption, is created. Now we need to extend it to the controlling area as a cost element. Click the edit cost element button, give the date here, 01/91, raw material consumption, cost element category. This is, well, as we have discussed earlier, this is classification of cost elements under various categories. This cost element is a raw material consumption, which is an expense, so this will be category 1, primary cost element. Select it and save it. So with this we created the first cost element. Let's create the next one, which is 410710, 410710. PL account group, and this is a packing material, line item display, sort key, field status group G001, save. So the GL account get created. Now click the edit cost element and enter the cost element category 1, and the second cost element is created. The third is a purchased component consumption, which is 410720. Field status group, line item, sort keys 001, and account group is P&L, and this description of the account is purchased component. Save it, and now click edit cost elements. So the GL account is extended as a cost element, which is a primary cost element in the controlling area, and now you save it. So with this we completed creation of 3 cost elements. The next is secondary cost element. The secondary cost element, as we discussed earlier, is created within the controlling area only. They are not created in the FI area. They are used for transfer of amounts within the controlling area between various cost objects. Cost objects could be internal order, cost collectors, cost centers, etc. So the transaction code to create secondary cost element is KA06. You can refer to the slide here. Just refer to the slide here. You see We created the controlling version, which is OKEQ is the transaction code. We created cost element, KAG. We created cost element in like 410690. The transaction code mentioned here is KA01, but you can go to FS00 and then click edit cost element. In KA01, you can directly create the cost element. I will suggest you go to FS00 as per the shown on the SP screen just now. Then create secondary cost element. Here these are directly created controlling area. Transaction code is KA06. We are going to create these 5 secondary cost elements. Let's create these cost elements. Transaction code KA06. So the first one is 941,000. This is material overhead. So this cost element we will use for movement of material overhead. Cost element category is 41, that is overhead rates. So that's why I've used the name nomenclature as 941. 41 identifying the cost element category. So when we do the product costing configuration, we will be creating a costing sheet. In the costing sheet, we will have this cost element type, that is the overhead rates, which will be used for absorbing the overhead rates to the product being manufactured or product being costed. Cost element category 41 is selected here and now save. So with this cost element gets created, material overhead. Similarly, there is activity overhead 941. This is activity overhead. Element category, cost element category 41, save. Next is we will go with the cost element 943,000. Now, this is used for the setup activity cost. So 43 is a activity category, cost element category, and this category 43 is used for internal activity allocation. So what this cost element is used for, like when we are doing the product costing configuration, we will be creating work centers. Now, work centers are machines where some activity or labor is performed to convert the raw material into a finished goods. Now, these work center will have certain expenses like administration expenses or some consumable expenses or power expenses. Now, these costs are absorbed to the product cost to the cost element category 43. So this is getting created here. This is setup activity cost, that is setup activity, setting up the machine cost will be absorbed to the product produced in this work center through this cost element. Next is 943,001. This is labor activity cost. Nine four three double zero two. Machine activity cost. Machine activity cost. Cost element category 43. So with this we created the 5 cost elements. Now let's create some cost centers. So we will create 3 cost centers here, that is admin cost center, production cost center, which is basically work center 1, and production division 2, which is work center 2. So let's create these 3 cost centers. The transaction codes to create these cost centers are KS01. Going back to SP, transaction code KS01, enter the cost center 3301002. This is admin cost center, administration, person responsible, let's give Om Tech, cost center category. This is administration, so select a administration category, generally used for reporting purpose. Hierarchy, well, we have the top node, select the hierarchy and save it. Select the next cost center, create the next cost center 3301005. Now this is production division 1. This is basically the work center 1, where machine activities performed on raw material to convert it into finished goods. Work center, cost center category, this will be production. So do we have production? Yes, category F will be selected, hierarchy F4, so the one which we created earlier in OKKP transaction code is selected here by default and enter. Now, very important, when you press the enter, you get message at the bottom of the screen, profit center accounting active, but no profit center specified. Now, this is in yellow, it's not red. So this is only for the information purpose, and it will not stop you from creating the cost center. Just press the enter again and the message will go away. The reason it's coming, this message is coming, is like we activated the profit center when we created our controlling area in transaction code OKKP. However, we have not created profit centers. We are not entering the profit centers here while creating the cost centers. Profit center module has been discussed in detail in a subsequent lectures. See, let's create the next profit center, cost center 301-006. This is production division 2. Person responsible Om Tech. Cost center category production, hierarchy same, enter again and save. So with this we created 3 cost centers, and now the last activity in this tutorial is create the activity types. Create activity types. The transaction code is KL01. So what are activity types? Again, this we have discussed in detail earlier, but for the purpose of product costing, let's understand again. Activity types are the activities which are performed in the cost center. So let's see, in production cost center, you will have activity called labor activity, where labor is working to convert, labor is working on the machines, labor is doing some, let's say, deflashing work, labor is doing some activity whereby the raw material is processed, and so that labor activity is there. Again, there will be activity called setup activity. This activity will involve activity or hours spent on setting up the machine which will process the raw material. Similarly, there is an activity, machine activity there. This is basically the hours spent by the machine to convert the raw material to finished goods in that particular cost center, or what we call it work center. So this is what is activity. Activities in short is the activity or hours performed in a work center, or labor or effort performed in the cost center. So transaction code is KL01. Let's go to transaction code KL01. KL01. Our first activity is the setup activity, which is 330100. This is setup activity cost. Setup activity cost. Activity unit is in hours. Cost center category, we give it asterisk, which means it will take all cost centers, activity category is 1. Save it. Now it's asking for a cost element. So cost element we have already created earlier. So this is setup activity. So we will select the cost element for setup activity. Activity type category, as here it will be, let's select 1. So now we have to select the price indicator. Price indicator, we will go with the 1, which is planned price automatically based on category. Then actual activity type category will be 1, which is as in planning, and activity price indicator selected will be 5, which is actual price automatically based on planning. So system will automatically calculate the actual price rate. So let's look at it again. Activity category is 1, which is manual entry, manual allocation. Then the cost element is the setup activity cost. This we created just now. Price indicator is 1, which is planned price automatically based on activity. The system automatically calculate the price based on the activity. This is for the planned price. And then we have an actual price also. Here again, we actual activity type category is 1, which means manual entry, manual allocation. And price indicator is 5, where actual price automatically based on activity. So based on the activity, actual price is calculated by the system. Save it. Let's create the next activity, which is 330101. This is labor activity. Activity unit is ours, cost center category asterisk, activity type category same, 1, price indicator same, 1. Actual activity category is also 1, and actual activity price indicator is 5. We have to select a cost element, a secondary cost element. So this is a labor activity. So select labor activity cost element 943001, which is created just now, and save. And the last activity type is 330102. This is for machine activity cost. Same entries, activity unit is in ours, cost center category is asterisk, that means all cost centers, activity type category is 1, price indicator is 1, actual activity type category is 1, activity price indicator is 5. Allocation cost element is, this time it's machine activity cost, 943002. Save. So with this we have done the key setting of the cost center accounting. Now in the next tutorial we will do the planning in the cost center. We will enter the planned activity hours, planned expenses in the cost centers, and then we will arrive at the planned activity rates. Thank you.